Brett, what needs to be the mindset tonight?
I mean, stuff that we all would expect. You know, we're trying to come here and win a game. And the pieces that go in to what gives us the best chance to do that, I doubt I'm going to get into much coach speak here, but it gets back to the obvious stuff, like how do you leave Boston with a win?
Was defensive communication something you guys talked about after game one? Do you feel like just talking might help some of the stuff that came
I mean, we weren't in many ways at all what we have been defensively. And most of that I give credit to the Celtics. A portion of it I scold us, and we need to do better defensively. But I believe you'll see a different team tonight.
Well, no team has ever finished the season with 16 straight wins. You get 20 out of 21. Did you have to brace against the possibility that players started to think it might be a little easier than they thought?
I get that question asked a lot, Jack, and it's a fair question. And maybe it's because of I personally just don't even come close to thinking like that. That it's hard for me to wonder, you know, am I naive thinking that surely my players don't think that? Maybe they did, or maybe they do, but it's nothing about the messaging that we talk about. And, you know, people are people, and young people perhaps are more vulnerable to that type of illusion, right? And there is no comfort level that personally I feel, and I hope that's extended to the players. We're proud of what we did to end the season, no doubt. But it comes with just a healthy dose of respect for our position. We don't take anything for granted. So I hope no is my long-winded answer.
Coach, because you guys were on such a roll like that 16-game roll, and all of a sudden it comes to a stop. You don't play for almost a week, then you gotta hit the restart button. That momentum, the shift of momentum, how did it affect you guys on Monday night, or if at all?
No, it definitely affected us, and I'm not trying to make any excuse. I just know that it did. I wish we played yesterday. You know, you feel like there's a rhythm beat that is a little bit disrupted, and I think that we can all better judge later, because the possibility that the rest that we accrued while we weren't playing, you know, maybe that serves us better as the series unfolds. I can confidently say it didn't help us in game one. It didn't even come close to helping us in game one. And I respect and give credit to the Celtics for exposing, you know, a lot of weaknesses that maybe a lack of rhythm allowed them better to show.
How can you guys get more production from the bench?
I don't know.
Well, okay, let me phrase that again. What had the bench been doing that had been productive that didn't happen in game one?
I think I'm not even really looking at the bench. I don't think anybody played that well. I really don't. I don't think anybody played that well. And, you know, the bench is obviously a part of that, but I also didn't, you know, play a lot of people extended minutes either. And so some of that isn't entirely on them. You know, we all look at a stat sheet and might come to that conclusion, but go straight over to minutes played, and that might justify some of it. And so I just think as a whole, we didn't play that well. We didn't play that well, and kind of both sides of the ball. So we're going to need to change that if we're to achieve our goal of taking a win and going home.
Joel came back after that 3-week absence. You had said it seemed obvious that his defense was ahead of his offense initially. I think he's had a couple of weeks now. What do you think his offense is at this point? How comfortable is he?
I mean, I think when you study the Celtics sort of schematic plan, they're happy to play him single coverage, you know, and stay connected to our three-point shooters. And he could end up with 40, and we could end up with 90. And it's his offense is okay. You know, I think that his mask is still, you know, has some level of restriction that he can better answer. You know, I think that him stretching the floor and like looking at the three-point shot at times is still on my mind. But offensively, that's not where I see Joel's greatest impact. I think his greatest impact will be his presence and his leadership and his aggression defensively. At times it is challenged when Horford pulls him out and he's away from the rim. That's what Al does, and he does it well. Those types of things with Joe are on my mind.
Even when Sarge doesn't shoot well, when he gets to the ball, gets his hands on a lot of things, you see a lot of value even on a night when he's not shooting well.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have a game where Cov and Dario don't make a three is rare, but to your point, Jack, for sure, he's got opportunities to make plays and impact the game all around. We sort of all feel it the most when he's making some threes, but yes, to your question, he certainly can do other things to help us win if his shot isn't falling or he's not getting them. The Celtics do a pretty good job of fanning out, to the three-point line and trying to, make it a long two game.